Hey everyone, Rascal here.
And Mama. Welcome to our channel, Paws On Animation.
Yes, and today we're covering the first in the fantastic DreamWorks trilogy, Kung Fu Panda.
Rascal's favorite.
Yes.
And this fun and surprisingly creative movie follows Po, a Kung Fu Superfan.
Or
fanboy.
Or fanboy, yeah.
Who dreams of seeing his heroes, the Furious Five. Mm-hmm. One day, not only does his wish come true, but also he's chosen to become the Dragon Warrior, the Dream Warrior.
No, wrong word.
Too. The Dragon Warrior, destined to defeat Tai Lung.
And before we start, be sure to like, subscribe, notification updates on future podcasts and multiple pause videos.
It could be called a Dream Warrior too, because his dreams came true.
Right.
So I know that we both were wondering how in the heck have we not done any Kung Fu Panda movies by DreamWorks when this is your favorite franchise of DreamWorks.
Right.
How did we do that? So now we're rectifying this omission.
Right. And we originally just going to cover about the franchise as a whole, not specific movie. Then we decided, we need to really do every individual movie and the special and things, because there's so much to say about each thing. It's not enough to even just do one podcast. I'll just go all over the movies.
Definitely.
So today we just start with the very first one, which came out in 2008.
Which helped to make Jack Black an animation VA superstar.
Yes, definitely. And I do remember that when this came out, this was kind of like terrible. It was seen as some kind of like a dumb idea. It was like, why would you have a movie called this? It sounded stupid. The plot sounded stupid. Why would they have a panda do martial arts? It was considered like a really dumb idea at the time. But then after it came out, and then people saw it actually was great.
And it made money.
Right, and it made money. And this seems to happen with a lot of these movies. They have something that really sounds dumb, but it turns out to be great. Mm-hmm. There are a few times when it looks dumb and then it is dumb, but here it just was like, I don't know, that sounds kind of weird, but now we got a bunch of weird A knockoffs.
And it's a beautifully animated movie, a great stellar cast, and again, these people were live action actors who hadn't done VA work for animation. Right. And every single one of them slayed. They did a great job. So this really started having a lot of live action actors being voice actors in animated movies. Because up to that point, you really didn't have it happening. When you did, it would be like, ooh, special guest appearance by. But here, it was a special guest appearance by. The entire cast were live action actors. Right. Well known. Jack Black was well known for his comedies and things he did. Mm-hmm. Dustin Hoffman, superstar. Right. You had
Angelina Jolie.
Yes, who had become a star in her own right.
You had Ian McShane.
Who was a huge star and still is now. He's known for playing villains, and when he finally played a good guy, it was strange, but yeah, he was huge.
Right. And you also had Lucy Liu. You had David Cross.
Lucy Liu was most famous at that time for having been on a show called LA Law, I think, which really got her into acting, and she started getting other roles. And David Cross was Uncle Ian.
Right.
And then Alvin and Chipmunks live action movie.
Right. And one of the biggest ones for us is James Hong.
Yes, I love Mr. B. And he was a superstar at the time for doing a lot of the not only American movies but also Asian movies. Mm-hmm. And yeah, this cast was fantastic.
Absolutely.
And the thing that really stood out is they did a wonderful job as animation VAs.
Yes.
They just knocked it out of the ballpark.
And they were having fun doing them. You look at the bonus features, they were genuinely having a good time, because you really see behind the scenes stuff like that now, and either you can tell they're not into it, they just want the paycheck, or there's no behind the scenes thing period, because they really don't want to be noticed that they were in here. So it was really nice to see, even though this is much older now, it was still nice to see that they genuinely enjoyed working with each other. They knew each other, most of them, and they had fun doing the role, and they enjoyed watching the movie after it was done.
And they also resulted in making these characters memorable.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, decades later, when you say Kung Fu Panda, there's excitement. People know what movie you're talking about. They know the characters. They know the voice actors who did the performances.
Right.
I mean, it's known. And this is one of DreamWorks' best franchises to come out of that studio ever.
Yes, absolutely. And the story itself, if we read when we began, it sounds kind of like... And when you think about it now, with the explosion of the superhero movies and stuff, this was not a superhero movie, but it was sort of done in the style of one. It just replaced superhero with Kung Fu.
It was like a merging of the two.
Yeah.
Superhero Kung Fu movie. That's what it was.
Right. Yeah. And you think about how Poe acts, how he knows about every single weapon, every master, every move. He just couldn't perform any of it at the time, but he knew just about everything there was about Kung Fu.
He was the original Deku.
Yes, he was Panda Deku.
And I know one of the things that really stand out about it is the beauty of the animation. Is absolutely gorgeous.
Yes.
And so realistic. And you know all the animals aren't real and they aren't anthropomorphic and they can't do these things.
Right.
But the movie itself is animated in such a beautiful way that it brought the characters to life.
Right.
And really excited not only children but adults as well. I mean, it's just, again, a beautiful movie to look at.
Right. Plus they had some really deep and beautiful messages within it, and it wasn't just the standard be yourself or think positive, and there's nothing wrong with those messages, but you've heard it so many times, sometimes it can sound a bit stale because you already know the outcome. And here this was more about self-worth and the secret to being the best. It was nothing, just you. You're the secret, that's it. And it was done in such a interesting way that the message stuck better. It wasn't just someone flat out telling you, this is, you can't do it by doing this, you can't do it by doing that, you just gotta be you. No, you just find out that was the secret of martial arts because everyone who does it has their own style. And that was how Shifu was feeling teaching Poe, because Peely didn't want to do it at all. He's kind of a jerk about it, but he had to find a different way to teach him that was different from the others. So there's a lot to gain from this movie, not just the lessons and the philosophy, the animation. It was just, at the time, it was really surprisingly high quality. That comes out now, it probably will go through the roof because Hollywood's kind of lacking in originality right now. So if this came out the first time now, it would be like Puss in Boots.
And it also right now is lacking in joyful movies. Everything is steeped in anything but joy. And this movie really is a joy, even with the situations of the fighting and the threat of the villain and what do they call it? Fear. You know, when they put up warnings. Fear, Even with those elements, it's still a joyful movie from beginning to end.
Yes.
It has a happy ending, which you want.
Right.
I mean, you know every movie doesn't have a happy ending. But right now, as you've mentioned, the majority of movies, whether they're live action, animated, from Western, a Western movie or
Eastern,
any, they don't have happy endings. And I think, you need some happy endings. We need to go back to some of that. And it's not nostalgia's clouding my mind. It's just, for me personally, I just want to stop seeing so much blood, guts, killing, betrayal, murder, and all these other elements.
Yeah, and
there
there's
are
no
movies
point
that it works in, but I don't want to see it in every single movie.
Right.
And so it was refreshing for us when you said during your birthday month, I want to watch Kung Fu Panda. And then it was funny because after we started, I want to just watch all three again. You're like, what?
Yeah.
And so it was nice to go back and see this movie again after so long.
Yeah. And another joyful thing about it is, as you said, with the same movies now, they also is a big push for people accepting reality and all that. And according to the reality that's being portrayed is everything's miserable. You just deal with it and keep going and try not to, get sucked in. And it's like, well, that's kind of a very downer outlook. I mean, if that is your outlook, then okay.
And
but
it's your choice.
Right.
don't choose to choose. I don't choose to live that way.
Right.
And I don't think we were meant to just exist, go through life, and then leave here.
Right.
And for the movie industry to be producing these type of movies, whether they're animated or not, especially Western movies, with that message.
Yeah. So with this, they kind of do challenge that within here with scene was on the outside. Is a pose, giant, chubby panda. He shouldn't be able to do anything. All he does is eat and so on and so forth because of the time it was made. That was sort of the whole thing. It's like there's no way with how he looks and his size he should be able to do anything. But as it goes on, you see he is capable in his own way. And he still believes he can do it, even no matter what Shifu said. And another positive is that we learned for the thing with Mr. Ping is like, it's obvious, you see Mr. Ping, you see Poe, you're thinking one thing, but you don't question it.
I don't even, what's so funny is this movie has such an innocence to it, and such, as you said, an outlook of not focusing on negative or finding things wrong. I remember when I first saw it, I didn't even question that Mr. Ping was his dad.
Yeah.
I just thought somehow, some way, a panda and a hen or goose had ended up having a kid.
Right.
I didn't even question it in the way that it was written and filmed.
Right.
It seemed like, hey, this is normal. Yeah, okay.
You're right.
Strange, but that's his dad, so who cares?
Right. And when we read a artwork book, it said that was the whole purpose. They didn't want it to be a whole focus that if Poe was adopted. If you probably thought that, you may or may not have been right. Like, or you're thinking the mom's a panda, and you accept this.
Right.
And it didn't stand out that Poe was the only panda in the village. He didn't stick out. He wasn't abnormal.
Absolutely.
It was just, he blended in. Everyone accepted it. It was nothing stuck out. It might stuck out to the audience member, but not to the characters. They saved that story for the second movie, which was also handled really well. And I really like that there wasn't a harping on that and going with the standard, oh, I don't fit in, I want to stand out and all that.
But again, this was made decades ago.
Yeah.
And as you mentioned, if this movie were made now, it wouldn't be the same movie.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm grateful that it was made decades ago. It wouldn't have turned out this beautiful. And again, I was an adult sitting here watching this movie going, okay, a panda and a goose had a baby. I'm okay with that. Right. And it never, occurred to me to question it or think he was adopted. It was just, okay. That's his dad. Oh, he's so sweet. I love Mr. Ping. And that was it.
Right.
But now, as you said, it would be a whole different outcome and it'll be a whole different message and outlook. So I'm really grateful that Kung Fu Panda was made during the time period it was made. We've got something beautiful, something that we heard in a video that we watched, that China was actually upset that America made a beautiful movie about China.
Right.
And why had they made their own movie
right.
the same way?
And since then, we've been seeing a bunch of Chinese anime movies come out the Woolsworth and knockoffs on Netflix, constantly trying to have their own
spark,
Kung Fu Panda.
magic.
Right. And trying to outdo Kung Fu Panda. And so far, it has not happened.
I think what would be a better idea is to make something else different that sticks out, that has the magic to it.
Right.
And make the world stand up and take notice and love it.
Right.
But that's Hollywood. Copy, duplicate someone else's success.
Right.
And so far, as you said, no one has duplicated Kung Fu Panda's success.
Nope.
And I don't believe they ever will.
Nope.
It's like a time capsule, a beautiful thing in a time capsule. It's not going to be duplicated. And I'm really grateful for it. And grateful for DreamWorks actually greenlighting it and creating it and giving the world something to love.
Right.
Decades later, when you go back and watch it, it's just as much fun as when you originally saw it.
Right.
So if you've seen Kung Fu Panda, let us know what you think in the comments below. If you haven't seen it, you can purchase it. We already own all three, but it's easy to find, to buy, and it may actually be on Netflix as well. So if you haven't seen it, you're really missing out. Give Kung Fu Panda a watch. Come back and let us know what you think in the comments below.
Right. If you haven't already, subscribe for updates, music videos, and your favorite anime series, anime shows, and all things animation.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for your support. We really appreciate you.
Thank you for watching. I'm Rascal Entertainment.
And I'm Mom Entertainment.
Have a toontastic day.
Peace. Skadoosh.